Welcome, Battle Brothers. I am the Epic Narrator. Today we've got a White Dwarf review for you. We're going to be looking at issue number 199 from July back in 1996. Now this issue cost a princely sum of £2.99. Can't wait to see what we've got in store. My suspicion is we're going to be looking at the first time seeing the second edition Chaos Codex. So bang, just to start off with, we've got traditional Games Workshop alumni here. Jake Thornton, Adrian Wood, the King of the Orcs, Steve Anastaff, Gavin Thorpe, Ian Pickstoff, and Tumas Perinin, if that's how you say it. So some high class Games Workshop staff here. We have got an amazing picture here. Old Goliaths in that very sort of street punk Mad Max look. Steroided Mad Max blokes, I think, is the best way to describe them. A little bit of BDSM going on there as well, with a new psychic guy from the Underhive. We've got the Corridor Gangers here as well. Also down here we've got old school Blood Axe Commandos in the red and black paint garb. Not a big fan of the red and black myself. When I painted mine all of those years ago, I kind of did them in an urban style. These guys, the Valhallans, still using these models until today. To be honest, timeless sculpt, really love those guys. So let's skip the contents, let's just move straight on. Right, new releases. So for Warhammer Fantasy, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 releases. Now my bet, we've got quite a few releases coming on later as well for 40k. These orcs here I find very interesting. We look here, this is still a transition period of Games Workshop, especially for the orcs. Got here the very old school looking, some would say goofy, cartoony looking orcs, but let's just say humorous orcs, shall we? And move along a little bit more. These are kind of mid-range, but these guys look much more like the orcs that everyone knows and loves these days, the brutish, bigger looking ones. I mean, if we look at the size difference between these two, this one seems a lot smaller. So here we've got a little snippet of how orcs evolved over time there. We've got Zinchian Sorcerer, and as I suspected, so here we've got the Psychics from Necromunda coming in. Right, so here's what we really want to see, which is Codex Chaos, yeah, so which was released. Massive juggers, little joke there, I don't know if the GW would be able to get away with in this political climate, but there we go. Archfiend, so we're talking about Abaddon here, or Abaddon, whatever you want to say. Back in the day, I used to say Abaddon, so I'm going to use both in this issue. Fabulous Bill, Fabulous Bile. This is the first time we're going to be seeing his models, and that's quite interesting as well. Kosovan War was going on at this point, so this chap here, I'm going to blank out his face and also blank out his name here. But yeah, reading White Dwarf in the Trenches all of those years ago, and we've got a huge amount here being released, mostly Chaos, Plague Marines, Juggernaut, Berserkers. Also got a new War Buggy and Squig Catapult to be looking at, and Scavies, Scavy Boss, Scalew's Scatter Cannon, Plague Zombies. So maybe we'll see some Scavies in this issue as well. Space Hulk here, the old Warhammer Fantasy, very sorry to see that go. But what we have here is just amazing, isn't it? These are some conversions by our man John Blanche. Now, if we look at his models here, they look almost exactly like his artwork. Now, what he's done with this Mephiston model is amazing. I was never a fan of that old Mephiston model doing a classic Games Workshop Fonz pose, but I mean, this work here is just absolutely amazing. I mean, I love this, love the colors, dark, muted red. I mean, I suppose we would be calling these word bearers today. It doesn't mention what chapter they are here, but that would be my suspicion. Not sure what model this could be. Fantasy, no doubt. But when we look through, we've got an old Legion of the Damned sergeant there. Some great conversion work. This looks amazing here, just shoving a great old school great unclean one straight onto the front of a Predator. This guy is a lieutenant, I believe. He looks really evil there. I don't know if it's the paint job or the model itself, but they've done a really good job. And these conversions here, so anything we see with the Chaos logo, we know has been converted. Just look at this work here. So when we were going back to Chaos, and they really were not so fleshed out as they are now. So let's see what they've been doing. More amazing John Blanche artwork here. It's like an assault of John Blanche here. Now my suspicion is that they've used John Blanche's art as what's the word? They've been using John Blanche's art as a prototype for the new Chaos. I mean, I would guess this would be kind of Betrayer here. This Chaos Terminator looks almost exactly like the models, and these Chaos Marines as well. Now, I'm not sure which way it was. You know, maybe we'll have to read it to find out, but we don't have enough time. Let's move on. Andy Chambers there, with not the most attractive face in the world, but not the worst I've seen him do. So we've got Andy Chambers conversions here. Now these conversions were prototypes for the new Chaos. Now when we look closely at them, although they are quite small, we can see old Mark 7 kits here. They've still got their Aquillas on their chest, and really all they are is a kit bash with little bits and bobs here and there. These are old Orc bolters. Yeah, so these are the old Orc bolters. I believe these weapons are from hybrid sprues of Space Crusade, or Advanced Space Crusade I should say. Death Guard Terminator there. And so these are real. I'm not really sure where he's got that head from. Perhaps a Goliath, perhaps a plastic Goliath. These are the Plague Marines. Standard. These are standard GW. These are Andy Chambers personal conversions. Again, this Zinshin Sorcerer. Dark Angels, this is the new Juggernaut there. This Chaos Dreadnought, I've never been a fan of him, to be honest. I just thought his arm was a bit too long. Nice artwork here. Right, so these, the Night Lords, I mean, I've always been a fan of the Night Lords. That, you know, that paint scheme is just amazing, isn't it? You know, with the lightning. So we've got a conversion here, and some more another big conversion here. These guys must be standard. This guy's another kit bash though, so really, I mean, does he count as conversion? So we've just got again another standard Mark 7 Space Marine with some Chaos shoulder pads, Chaos backpack. So really, that would be a conversion as well that they haven't noted. The old Imperial Bastion. So this would be Necromunda bulkheads with a main plastic base. Cardboard scenery was all the rage back in 1996. Golden Demon entries here. I mean, this Eldar here looks really, really good. This one, not so much of a fan of, not a big fan on the colour scheme, but I mean, this guy here just looks amazing. Got that very bright second edition look to them. Let's see what other issues we've got. Right, so we've got some old school scouts here. Love these models. Not a fan on that paint scheme either, to be honest. Don't really like the black face paint. Without that face paint, they would be looking a bit better, I think. Lovely models though. Here we've got a custom or homebrew chapter called the, what are they called? Maybe the Falcus Umbra, I'm not really sure. So these guys are a nice mix of some second edition and old Rogue Trader models here. So we've got a Rogue Trader Mark 7 and a Rogue Trader Mark 7 there. We've got some Mark 6s here and there, right? This guy is a Terminator captain. Now if you look very closely, you can see that they've swapped out his old school bolter for a new bolter, right? This bolter would have been all the rage in second edition. Nice pit fighter here. Looks like that's scratch built, potentially scratch built. I would hazard a guess that those legs maybe have come from a Goliath. Young bloods here. So this is the youngsters. This is the youngsters competition for teenagers. 2nd edition Space Hulk. Right, so that pause is staying in the video as that was a moment of shock and potential horror at what I'm looking at. Right, so anyone who hasn't picked up an old White Dwarf maybe doesn't know that there's something seriously going on with the headshots in the old White Dwarfs. I don't know why he would pick these hilarious metal poses for a lot of them. So this must be our man here, Fred Marchini, the talented photographer who's responsible. So this is the guy who took all of these bizarre shots. So perhaps I will let you have a look at some of those in the future. We'll make a little rogues gallery ourselves. Nice dioramas here like these. It's the old Citadel Giant, or even a Marauder Giant, I believe. I wonder if this shadow here is painted on, or if it's actual light. Who knows to see. Now these Chaos Space Marines here, now they just look absolutely amazing, don't they? So again, there weren't that many Chaos models to be going, but I mean these look great. So let's see if we can pick out what some of these parts are. So these are the old bloodletter heads, not found on that really elongated one there. These are the old bloodletter heads. If we look very closely here, we can see the old So this is a Devastator. This is an old Mark 7 Devastator Marine there, and just standard Mark 7s with a Chaos backpack. Chaos Bolter there. These guys look great as well, don't they? And they've swapped the heads over, and I think it's quite interesting how they've got sort of a chainsaw arm. This snake guy, not a big fan on. This guy though, and this guy, absolute thumbs up. I mean, if we compare this snake guy compared to this snake guy, there's no contest there really. Now my suspicion is that here we have got old school Warhammer Knights or Chaos. Some old school Warhammer Chaos there with more modern Space Marine legs, and these are the old Orc Stormboy jetpacks, and they fit really well, I think. What is that? Okay, so old school Dark Angels, very nice. In here there would have been some vehicle cards or maybe some war gear cards. Who knows where they are now? Lost to the warp. A little Space Hulk story here. Maybe I'll do a reading of that later. So we've got some custom missions that you could play. Let's skip through these. Lovely Andy Chambers face again. So this Chambers of the Horned Rat. Shadow of the Horned Rat was a good game. Don't know if anyone remembers that. Warhammer Fantasy game. John Blanche artwork of the classic Gretchens. In fact, we have one to hand. There we go. There he is. Okay, so this is one of Andy Chambers' personal... Is this a whole game? Or is this a campaign? I'll have a read about later and I'll let you know. I'll put it up on the screen. So I believe this must be a custom campaign that Andy has made. Now here we have what I guess is the Metal Thunderhawk. Now can you imagine a Metal Thunderhawk? Now I was lucky enough to see this back in the day. It might even be this very Thunderhawk. I was just in awe as a kid. I mean, just imagine owning your own Thunderhawk. This Thunderhawk was apparently a pig to put together. I mean, it was bad enough. I mean, looking at these old metal dreadnoughts, it was bad enough putting these guys together, let alone trying to put something like that together. I mean, you imagine how much that must have weighed. I'm assuming it was the old white metal as well. Like I said, the white metal was even worse than the sort of lead stuff to stick. Do not envy that person. I mean, look at the size of that flight base there. Grand openings. There's the Best Games Workshop down there. Recruitment. You get paid to play games. You get paid to paint miniatures. Get staff discount. Well, that'd be worth its weight in gold now, wouldn't it? You get a Games Workshop uniform, something that all the ladies love, of course. Get excellent training, get great promotion opportunities. That's right, you could end up in the mail order department, and you get to work at Games Workshop. What more do you want? Well, by the sounds of it, I think I'd prefer to be put down into an Imperial Guard penal legion. The Administratum is constantly looking for new recruits. Our veteran officers are sent into the field to scout for new blood for the greatest army in the universe. The Imperium has literally hundreds of outposts scattered across the planet, each one needing only the best reinforcements we can offer. We want bright, energetic, enthusiastic individuals to join the elite strike force that is retail. All you need is a good knowledge of Games Workshop, games and miniatures, a genuine wish to spread the word about Games Workshop, and an application form. Get your application form from any Games Workshop store or write to our head office at the address below. Yeah, rush on out for that one, lads. Modelling Workshop, play your cards right. Again, so we've got more cardboard scenery here. A lot of scenery was almost all scratch built. There wasn't much in the way of scenery that you could buy in these days. So Firebase, I believe that is, some old Warhammer stuff here. This battle bunker, see, I don't remember seeing this back in the day. Don't remember seeing that. More John Blanche artwork. Right, this is a classic war buggy. Don Adrian's loving it there, giving his best orc thumbs up. I mean, yeah, so this is the first time we've seen this war buggy, and now this is an old workhorse, isn't it? You can still see these out and about today. I love the driver. You know, for me, you know, I still think this is a very passable orc video. Keep the driver, maybe upgrade the gunner. Looks fine to me. These war bikes, even back in the day, I wasn't too happy with them. With the same. They all just looked a bit odd to me with the same driver. This is the old metal Scorcher, amazing. This is the old metal Orc Dreadnought, Dustbin Dreadnought as we used to call him. See, I had one of those. I had that as well back in the day when I was a kid. August tour dates. Battle tour, interesting. At the Masonic Hall, so... Freemasons obviously must be playing Games Workshop. Dawn of the Restless Dead. The Black Heart returns. So we've got a Warhammer campaign, or Warhammer stuff here. I'm sorry, old Hammer fans. Fantasy is really not my forte. However, this is in the grim darkness of the future. There is only war. Look at this second edition, glorious here. Look, all the codexes as well. No Tau, no Tau, no Necrons, just the real blokes there. Only one missing is the squats, unfortunately. Getting out and about once in a while. Now, I've played quite a lot of Warhammer Quest in my time, and this is something that I always wanted to do. These are some rules to play your Warhammer Quest characters in Warhammer Fantasy. So I would love to maybe give this a go. Got a nice story here. Perhaps I'll give that a go at one point as well. Now, the War Master of Chaos. So here we have maybe the first appearance of our man Abaddon or Abaddon. Also this metal juggernaut of Khorne. Now, I remember this model was an absolute beast. Just like the Dreadnoughts, this thing was all metal. So this thing felt like you could mug an old lady with it or something. It felt like a brick. And the worst thing to see was one of these, or a Dreadnought, or some sort of metal model just careering towards the floor as it shattered into a million pieces and all the paint chipped off it. They were absolute nightmares. Great Abaddon art here, looks absolutely fantastic. The older model, lots and lots of stuff stuck to him there. He's got, I was never a big fan on these big massive trophy racks on his back. Also, for me, his power claw's a bit big, isn't it? But then I suppose it does make sense, seeing as he's nabbed it straight off of Horus, hasn't he? Now, if you want to hear this, or you want to see what this says, you can follow the link in below. One of my first videos was an Abaddon reading, so feel free to watch that. Here we have the classic Necromunda. Again, this cardboard scenery, that was all the rage, and with the standard plastic goons that they gave. And again, these models I found were a little bit lackluster, but these metal ones, absolutely amazing. Wood elves, I always like these sort of wood elf models. I always thought these horses look quite cool. Bit cartoony, but you know, it was all the rage back then. Oh, a nice epic Space Marine picture there. Build your army today. Buy two, get one free. Yeah, imagine that in this day and age. It's not going to happen, is it? So what, you buy two metal miniatures. Oh, look, plastic Tyranids. Now, these were my favourite Tyranids, actually. Army lists. It's just stressing me out looking at it. Rescue at Leamington Spa. Reformation of Tunbridge Wells. Okay. Scavies. I forget the name of this guy. So yeah, again, so this is when the Underworld expansion or Underhive expansion had come. Oh, here we go. Karloff Valois and the Plague Zombies. Scavvy gangs, not the best gang to play. Every time I played Scavies, I would end up sort of annihilating them. It's interesting how we've come back to Necromunda, so it'll be interesting to see if we get a re-release. Some nice Mark Gibbons artwork there. You know, if we look at Mark Gibbons' artwork, I mean, to be honest, that model doesn't do that artwork any justice at all, does it? The old Imperial Guard, so I've still got one of these. I've got an old Lehman Russ in the cupboards above me, and also got an Imperial Hellhound. I always like this Griffin model, look cool. Imperial Basilisk, timeless. Okay, so an old painting guide, how to paint your horses. Not something I ever dabbled in painting horses, but I'm sure this would be interesting for fantasy players. Nice Rough Rider there. Right, so if we look at this painting guide, this was how we had to learn how to paint. No YouTube or anything like that back in those days. It was either speaking to your friend, speaking to somebody in the shop, or trying to best piece together how to paint from here. Now, there was always a big massive jump. If we look at step 4 here and step 5 there, I mean, there's no contest, is there? I think this would be these two here. I mean, maybe when I was about 15, if I was lucky, maybe I could get to this standard. This standard here, absolutely no chance. How do you get from here to here? Doesn't really explain it very well, does it? Okay, so we've got a battle report. Awakening of the Woods. Is that Adrian Wood? Is it going to be Adrian Wood? That's my guess. No! Oh, well, easy. That could have been an easy play on words there, couldn't it? I mean, that should have been our man, Adrian Wood. But this is not an orc army, so maybe that's why he's not here. Right, so battle reports. Perhaps these are something that I could cover for you in later videos. So we've got Skaven versus Wood Elves. In all honesty, I'm sorry, guys. I am not a Warhammer Fantasy buff at all. Like I said, it's all 40k for me. A little bit about, but not too much. Okay, so that looks like we're coming towards the end here. Blood Bowl, nice. So this is the old mail order form. So no internet back in those days, right? So what we would do is pick out what bits and bobs of the models we want, pick up the real telephone, phone up Games Workshop, phone up the Games Workshop office up in wherever, probably Nottingham, not sure, and do it that way. We could either maybe do it in the shop, or potentially we could also, like I said, just do it from home and get it delivered. I'm thinking about maybe doing a memories of mail order video in the future. And that looks like that for today. Scavies. Okay then, Battle Brothers, so that is the end of White Dwarf issue number 199. Now, I'm sure you'd agree it's nice to go and revisit some of these. I'm just looking at some of this art, I mean, especially this chaos stuff and this, I mean, it's just amazing, isn't it? I mean, I love going through these again. I hope you've enjoyed this video as much as I have. If you did, leave a comment. Remember to like the video and all the rest of it, as it really does help with that YouTube algorithm. And until then, well, I suppose, Battle Brothers, see you later, and may the Emperor protect you from Nurgle's blight.